My friend Miriam has been on here before, and she's got Cafe Istanbul, which is phenomenal food, but it's an experience because, you know, on Friday nights they'll have DJs and belly dancers and all that. So it's you walk away feeling like that was cool, not like I ate food. I mean, eating food is good. The food is phenomenal, but the experience is what people remember.
Yeah.
Like they're like, yeah, the food was really good. Well, you can get good food for takeout.
Right.
But if we can help our clients, no matter of our business, have a good experience with us, with our company, with our team or whatever, that's where they're going to talk about you.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Renew podcast, where we are talking about how to reclaim your life without losing your edge. And I am here again today with the marvelous Miss Mendoza.
Good morning.
Who's looking pretty saucy in our animal print.
Hey,
I've got my animal print shoes on today, but not your shirt.
You
We
do.
did not plan this. So, see, we're engaged already. Because today we're talking about engaging your people, client engagement, building a community. So this month's focus on Renew has been renewing your business. So specifically, how can we work to grow our business? Last week we talked about finding our people. So this week we're going to dive into kind of engaging them and building your community, which is, as you know, one of my favorite things to talk about because I'm all about the tribe and all about the community and things like that. And it's hugely important. I mean, I'm finding that the older I get, I know you're still the youngster, the older I get, the more important it's becoming to me to connect with the right people and to really weed out the folks that aren't. Because that's what we talked about last time. It's kind of who your people are, who your market is. Yeah. But once you find them, we got to keep them around and we got to, engage them. So when you hear the word engagement, as it relates to business, what do you think of?
To me, it really comes back to fostering that relationship, right? Mm-hmm. So in the book you mentioned not waiting to build your network until you need it.
Yes.
Because then the other person on the other end really feels used, right? Like,
For sure.
You just call me when you need me.
Right.
And that plays out in my mind across the board, especially when you're dealing with clients. I mean, you've got to stay engaged and, it's not just signing them on and going, great, thanks, and entering into the engagement, but thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being a loyal customer. Especially now in COVID, the clients that have stayed, that's important to your business. Well,
and especially, people aren't going to stick around. The line I always use with my private coaching clients are, your biggest client is someone else's biggest prospect. Mm-hmm. So you've got to be nuts if you think your competitors aren't calling on your top clients, no matter what I don't care what the industry is. If you're selling product, if you're selling a service, I work a lot in professional services and they are, people are hot after the top prospects. There are plenty of prospects to go around is my philosophy. So it's about finding who you connect with. But once you get them, that's just the start of the relationship. And I think so many businesses stop there. Yeah. They're like, all right, we got the sale, we got the client, we signed the agreement, we're good. And then they don't really stop to figure out how they're going to keep them around. Yeah. Because if you not just keeping them around, the more they can become advocates for your business and the more they can kind of be cheerleaders, if you will, they'll proactively, without you even asking, refer their business. Like my favorite clients to work with are the ones that just get business over and over and over again because people are talking about them.
Yeah. A lot of people kind of come across the same issues, and once you find a solution to the problem, you're willing to talk about it.
Yep.
There's a Don Draper Mad Men quote that I like.
You're Mad Men.
Don says the moment you sign a client is the moment you start to lose them, which is...
I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I think that's totally fair. So if we're not really loving on them and doing something. Now, next week, we're going to talk about really how to use social media and online platforms. But now I want to focus on the relationship building because you will start to lose them because once a client is onboarded with you or they've written a check or they've said, yep, I'm doing business with you, they are evaluating you left and right to make sure they're getting their money's worth.
Right.
And a lot of time that's not necessarily in the deliverables that are on paper. It's the way that you're making them feel, about doing work with you. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if people focus on that because they certainly don't teach it in school.
No.
I think this
is something that you learn
in school. It isn't. It isn't. So unfortunately, let's talk about how to do it because my my thoughts are that it starts with understanding your people. And we talked about that last week on finding your people, but you've got to understand what makes them tick. Meaning, like, how do they think? What problems are they faced with? What things do they like? Both personally and professionally. So if you need to get to know them as a whole person so you can better engage, what they're looking for.
Yeah. I like to call that being a chameleon.
Okay.
Because
describe.
So I'm thinking one of the ways we work with our clients is we have a weekly call with them.
Okay.
And there are some clients you get on the phone.
Yep.
They want the highlights. Yep. Run through. I need you to not only ask questions, but have a suggestion. So if you're not sure about something or where we should go, at least make a suggestion. So that gives them a starting point. And they just want the highlight reel.
Yep.
Other clients love to get on.
Yep.
And they love to talk, and they want to know, how was your weekend? And let's come up with ideas and brainstorm and agree. So you have to be able to accommodate
for sure
each one.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you're just breezing through, if you treat all, just like, I'm going to do the highlights, then they feel like you don't care. So it's really like shape shifting almost.
It is shape. I love that.
Yeah.
The airbender, the avatar.
Yeah.
But it is shape shifting. But to do that, you have to understand what the client wants. And the analogy I use, very similar. It's always like, do you want to know what time it is, or do you want to know how the watch is made? Because with a background in finance, a lot of my guys are in the financial and insurance realm. They can get lost in the minutia. And, even when I was a financial advisor, I mean, personally, no offense to my advisor friends listening here, but the market and all that stuff, it's a little boring to me. I would have rather talked about what we did last weekend.
Yeah.
But not all clients were like that. So I had to know what their preference was. I knew my preference. But so many times in sales and in business, we focus on our preference as opposed to what the client is looking for. So I think that's a good point. Knowing. So that's the first part of understanding is, how do they want to be communicated with? Are they a detail person or a concept person? What's the frequency of communication? Yeah. So communication is where it starts. Are they casual versus very formal? That goes back. I mean, it does go back a little bit to finding your people, because I tend to be extremely casual. Professional, but casual. I'm a little bit sassy, fluent in sarcasm. So I don't need clients who get that. I can chameleon and shapeshift to fit a client. But the ones I love are the ones that you're like, yeah, I can sass, and they're going to sass right back with me. But that's the important of finding the right people, because they gravitate towards your natural communication style. Mm-hmm. And as we look for that. Now, if not, it's up to you as the professional or the business to change that to fit your client. Yeah. Or at least morph it to where you're presenting things in a way they get it.
Yeah.
I think it is like a chameleon. Interesting.
One color's green, one's blue, one's black. Yeah, you have to know when and where and be able to change where needed.
Well, and I think if you find yourself getting exhausted with certain clients, that there's not a connect. Either they don't communicate the same way, they don't have the same values, anything like that. That's when you need to start evaluating, like, okay, is this really the business relationship we need to be in? Not that you just need to fire them and cut them off, but paying attention to where your energy is coming from.
Yeah.
Because it's way easier to communicate and engage somebody that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Being around. I think I said it last week. If you're looking at your calendar going, oh, I don't want to have this appointment, it's probably not somebody you're going to truly try to engage with.
Yeah. Well, and they may be feeling the same way about
for sure
you.
Absolutely.
Right? If it's a constant struggle for communication and you to be on the same page, they're probably kind of thinking the same thing you are. That maybe this wasn't the right match. Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, that's the beauty of the business world is people, clients come and go. But the ones that you like, the ones that you're kind of trying to build community with, whether it's your client base or membership base or club or friends or whatever, you have to continually nurture those relationships. And that's where I see businesses, especially professional services, stopping. Like you said, you get the sale and you're like, okay, I'm good, done.
Right.
But you'll lose them in a heartbeat.
Yes.
My practice now is my private coaching tends to be all referrals. I'll occasionally get somebody that maybe saw me speak, but it's typically referrals from other clients. And they start to replenish themselves, which is good, because if you're engaging them and they know that you're on their side and you're fighting for them and you're really helping them grow their business, they tell their friends. And I think that's regardless of what your business is. I think that's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we tell our friends about the restaurants we like, and, you know, sometimes it's the food, but more often, what do you hear about restaurants? The wait staff, service, all that. It's how you felt going in and out of there.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
Yep. It's little things. There's, let's talk about restaurants for a minute. We all know the good restaurants in town, right? I mean, we all have different opinions, but there's some we like. And there's a restaurant here in Atlanta that we're actually going to, is it this? Oh, yeah, this week. Kima. It's in Buckhead, and it's phenomenal. It's a Greek restaurant. It's phenomenal.
Okay.
He also, I mean, they've got that. They've got Bistro Nico, a bunch of, but Kima is insane. The food is insanely good. So people go there for the food.
Okay.
But every time I've been there, Chef Pano comes out, make sure you like your meals, talking to you. So you just feel like
special.
Feels special. Now, I've got friends that, you know him personally, but he always makes an effort to greet the guest and make sure the guest's experience as well. And I think that's something to take away, is no matter what, if it's a product or a service, how the guests are experiencing you is one of the things that businesses forget.
Nice. We need to go there.
I know. You also have to go there. It is so good.
I know Bistro Nico, but I don't know.
Bistro Nico, same. It's the same company that owns. They have a few restaurants. All the restaurants are phenomenal. I mean, and there are a lot of restaurants too. You know, I've mentioned my friend Miriam has been on here before, and she's got Cafe Istanbul, which is phenomenal food, but it's an experience because you know on Friday nights they'll have DJs and belly dancers and all that. So it's you walk away feeling like that was cool, not like I ate food. I mean, eating food is good. The food is phenomenal, but the experience is what people remember.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, yeah, the food was really good. Well, you can get good food for takeout.
Right.
But if we can help our clients, no matter of our business, have a good experience with us, with our company, with our team or whatever, that's where they're going to talk about you.
Yeah.
And say more about you.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned team too, because as you grow, multiple team members may be touching that client.
Yes.
And you want to make them feel like they just haven't been passed off.
For sure.
Because I think that's another kind of Achilles heel, if you will.
I get that a lot. So I'm also into, if you've heard me talk or work with me, you know I'm into segmentation too of clients. So I'm very big into who's your A, B, and C clients. All of us have them. We don't typically admit them that we have it. Those of us in the business world know that we do this. So I've felt that way too, where I've gotten passed down to somebody. I'm like, wait a minute, I've gone from an A to a B here. What happened?
No.
But it's critical for a business growth to have that segmentation of their clients. And the CEO, the president, the top people, whatever, however your hierarchy is, those are the ones that need to be spending their time with the top clients. They tend to be the biggest revenue generators. They tend to be the ones that are referring the most. Those are who the big guys need to spend time with. And that market needs to really fit them. But then the other folks, you still want them to have a little love and be loved on. So, for my financial guys or insurance guys, I want their team fully involved. But it's not just, the problem is people just say, oh, they passed a client off.
Yeah.
You're not passing a client, you're passing a relationship. And if you pass that off to a team member and all the team member is doing is passing paperwork or processing paperwork for this person, there's no longer a relationship.
Right.
I see this in the health insurance space a ton, where, somebody sells a case, they get put off to an account rep. If the account rep only pushes papers, they always lose that client. Always. Maybe not immediately, but over time they lose it. But if the account rep can really engage the person, make some phone calls, engaging has to do with not asking for business. So many times people are like, oh, I call them twice a year and check to make sure they don't need anything else. No, you didn't. That's not engaging. You're trying to sell them more crap, right?
Right.
So let's fess up and just say, all right, I'm not engaging. I'm trying to sell more. That's where we've got to change. We've got to start saying, okay, what can I do to make your life easier?
Yeah.
My best clients are the ones I help with stuff outside of the scope of business that I'm doing with them.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, oh, that was great.
Yeah. That's such a clear point of like, you engaging with the client is not because you're touching base all the time to sell them more.
Right. And I do, and the platform, we have our online community, we've got a lot of resources around client engagement just because I love it so much. So we got a ton of stuff in there. But one of the tracking sheets I have is a client touches tracking sheet. So I ask my clients and the people in our community to put down their top clients, their top centers of influence. And we just have a January through December tracker. Super easy, but I just want them to make sure they're touching base. But my rule of thumb is we're not counting this if you're trying to sell something, and that's really the part people make, because people get that, if once you start just checking in, and it could be, there's reasons to do it. It could be birthdays, it could be anniversaries. It could just be that, their team just won the Stanley Cup, or their team, the Lakers won the basketball contest that was on, whatever it is. Yeah. Knowing your client and understanding, like, here are the things that are important to them are a big thing. So the relationships I have in my life, personally and professionally, I try to know what their hot buttons are, good and bad, like where they're getting stuff from.
So we have Linda Douglas Smith watching, and Josh Barber, and then we also have Josh saying communicate without expectations.
Absolutely, Josh. And Linda, hi, Mom. So we've got Mom turning in. But no, Josh, you're exactly right. It's communicating without expectations. And so many times if we're trying to sell something or trying to get them to do additional business, we have expectations. And so that's always at the back of our mind. Now, I'm not saying don't try to do extra business, because we need to do that. I'm just saying the touches need to be in addition to that. There needs to be some communication that lets them know, hey, I get you, I understand what you're saying, and I want to build a relationship with you outside of the type of sale that we're working on.
Something I love to do that doesn't really require that much time, but if I come across an article, because I love reading articles, whatever I find I come across, I'm like, oh, I'm going to read that. I'll pass it off to a client. Like if I know it's something that they're interested in, or maybe an area that they're struggling with, I'll just email them, hey, saw this article, thought about you, knew it'd be beneficial, wanted to pass it on. And it took me 5 seconds to do that.
I do that all the time, and it's a great, easy way. But see, that counts. If you're tracking, that counts as a touch. Yeah. And your A and A plus clients, you need to have, especially in professional services. So I'm talking finance, insurance, accounting, attorneys, things like that. Anyone that tends to be more, even marketing, consulting, coaches. If you're not talking with your client or touching base at least once a month with your top clients, you're missing the boat. Your C clients, the ones that are kind of autopilot, if you will, those are the ones that, maybe a couple times a year you're touching base, but it takes 2 seconds to pass on an article. And if you're reading something and you're, to your point, and like, oh my gosh, this makes me think of Kristen, shoot it in the email. Say, hey, thought, and it doesn't have to be a long explanation. Just read this, thought of you, happy reading. Yeah. I do that tons throughout the week, and it's key. And they always are like, oh, that's great, thanks.
Did I earn bonus points for my Wonder Woman pictures that we took on vacation?
It's true, though, right? All right, so that's a good example. So, all right, Whitney and Isaac took a vacation. All right, in theory, on paper, they took a vacation. However, they were working during their vacation, and they came across, it was this place, and it had like a Wonder Woman museum-y type section.
In like the middle of the store.
It was awesome. So she's texting me pictures of these Wonder Woman thing, because you guys know I'm obsessed with Wonder Woman. But that's the little stuff, is that I am obsessed with Wonder Woman, and you're like, okay, Kristen would like that. It took 2 seconds. Yeah. I'm still mad about you not vacation on your vacation, but it lets me know, as a client, it lets me know that, man, okay, they're thinking about me. They know what I like and what's important to me. The same thing with, kids. If you guys get to know, I'm not talking about in a weird way getting to know the kids of your clients, but if you pay attention to what they're saying about them. If you guys that listen to me know, you guys know what my kids are up to. We got my tree hugger, my ninja astronaut, and my sassy one. So if you guys know what's important to me, it's easy to engage me in conversation. Yeah. And that makes people feel heard. It makes them feel important. Those are the people that are going to do business with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We seem to forget that somewhere along the line.
Yeah, we do.
In business.
Well, it's interesting because it cuts you off guard, because I'm always surprised if someone remembers my name or anything about me, especially if it's someone you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
That might be because I'm bad at names.
I am horrible with names. I can remember things. Like I would remember a Wonder Woman thing, or that they liked basketball or something way quicker than I'm going to remember a name.
Yeah. Yeah. So
maybe this is the new name calling. This is like, oh, Wonder Woman. Yeah, perfect.
I like that.
I think it could work. But it goes back to figuring out, all right, what's important to this person. So if we're really looking at kind of how to engage people and build, I mean, at the end of the day, it's engaging them, but it's also trying to build community. Because one of the things that's been cool about the platform that we launched a couple weeks ago, the Success Blueprint, we've got our online community, and it's new. I mean, we're 2 weeks into this, but it's building, and I'm already starting to see people kind of connect in there. I'm already like, hey, I'm looking for, an attorney that works with these people. I'm looking for this, and people are starting to connect because they're genuinely trying to help one another as opposed to selling things. No one's in there like, hey, I sell this. They're all more like, this would really help my clients. Or I'd love some resources here. And the genuineness with which people are popping in and saying, oh, you need to talk to this person or whatever is cool. And that's what business community is about. And I feel like we've been so active in the sales culture, quote unquote. I mean, think about how many courses there are on selling. I hate selling. Absolutely hate selling.
Yeah,
I've sold. I've been in sales positions forever. All of us sell. Any of us that own a business are selling. We're selling ourselves. But I hate to think of it as sales.
Yep.
Just because but that's what all the classes, all the workshops, everything has been on, is how to sell. And we haven't taken enough time to figure out and go how to engage. Because that's the wave of the future. Especially now that we're all stuck in our own homes. We are starved for engagement right now. We are trying to figure out, like, just somebody please come talk to me, right? So why not do that?
I keep saying there needs to be an etiquette class now that we're all wearing masks. Because I'm like, I go in a store and I know I'm smiling, but I don't know that the person
you
that I'm
smize. You got to smile with your eyes, right? I know, get the eyes really big, which if you've had Botox is very hard to do. But I digress.
Aren't they just?
I know you always look smiley. So I've not had any in a minute. So sorry, I'll be smiling with my eyes because my eyebrows are working. No, but anyway, I mean, you're right. It is hard to figure out how to connect with people.
Yeah.
But there are expressions, there are mannerisms, there are things like that. I joke that I've got such a bad case of RBF. The mask is hiding it a little bit. I think that was my joke a while ago. People are approaching me now because my RBF is hidden, so they think I'm approachable. But I don't know. I mean, it's really, I don't know the trick to it. It's just, there's online and offline. So offline is just looking approachable, engaging people in conversation, starting to talk about the things that are important to them, not the things that are important to you, which goes back to knowing your people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's, the mask thing is tough because we're in a state where half the people have them on, half don't, and no judgment either way. But it's just, take that away, because we do have an opportunity to engage people in person.
Yeah.
We have an opportunity to engage people online. We have an opportunity to engage people by picking up the phone. I mean, I don't know where we lost the art of the phone conversation, but you can still call people. Like, it's crazy. The phone actually dials phone numbers, and you can have legit conversation. It rings.
See, and that's why I think the communication issue with the mask is a problem.
Okay.
Because we don't communicate, we don't look at each other in the eyes anymore. We don't enunciate. So if you're not looking at me and you're mumbling and you have a mask on, there's zero communication happening.
All right. So, but I don't think we can use the mask as an excuse for these fools that are doing that, because you can still look at
go in a store.
You can still look at people in the eye with a mask on. I have a really cute mask. I'm totally going to look you in the eye with my Wonder Woman mask.
Because we're used to our phones and looking everywhere.
And that is a challenge. So if, the phone, and I'm so guilty of this, and my kids have actually started, I've given them permission to call me out on it. Like if I'm on my phone, because I'm on my phone a lot.
No, me
and
too.
I've started doing, I listen to the Burt Show in the morning here in Atlanta, and they were doing this phone thing where they were tracking the usage of their phone. And I'd never really paid attention to how much usage. So now I'm on they went to like an hour a day, and I'm like, children, come on now. But I've started tracking mine to make sure my usage goes down, because I am on my computer a lot, but I do find myself, if I'm not on a call or not, because I do a lot on social, I'll find myself just picking up my phone.
Yep.
So now I've tried to put the phone away and do it more online. And like, if I need to engage, it's a set time where I log into Facebook, I'll answer some comments, and then I'll log out.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do that, but we use it as an excuse. And I do feel that the cell phone internet is a good way to communicate with people. It's a very quick and easy way. But what I'm talking about is there are relationships where we need to go deeper.
Yeah.
So those A clients I was talking about, your close family members, your circle of friends, my circle of girlfriends, we're texting, we're calling. It's not this online stuff. So there is a hierarchy of communication, and I use the birthday as an example. My birthday was last month, and I mentioned this at the time. You get hundreds of Facebook messages, happy birthday, happy birthday. Love them. I think it's sweet that everybody takes time out of their day to do that. You'll get a handful more of direct messages, right? Some of those are fine. Some of those are okay. But and then the next step up is the people that know me, I'll get some text messages.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that they know me enough to know my cell phone number. And then the cream of the crop is the phone calls. But I can count with 5,000 connections. I can count on one hand the people outside of my family that picked up the phone and called me to talk to me on my birthday. That's what I mean by engaging. If somebody is that important to you, whether they're a client, prospect, or friend, pick up the phone and call them.
Yeah.
If they're young, they may go, what the heck is the phone's ringing? But it shows that it's just a different level of connection.
Yeah.
I feel like.
So Josh saying, I hate when you call someone, but they text right away, but they're not busy.
Okay, so I totally get this. So when you call someone and they text right away, but they're not busy. So that's an interesting thing because I'm so guilty of this, Josh. I pre-apologize. And let me tell you when I do that. Like if I know I'm about to get on a call and I don't have enough time to talk, I'll say jumping on a call or on a call. I typically am not going to respond back or answer the phone if I'm talking to somebody, if I'm in a client meeting.
Yeah.
But, if one of my kids are trying to get a hold of me, I will text right back and say can't talk or on a call. But you're right. I totally know what you mean. And it's my other pet peeve. I don't know if you've had this, Josh, if you're thinking this, because if somebody can answer, I always tell them, if I can answer, I'm answered, just call me. I have a set group of friends and they'll text me and they'll say, call, ? I'm like, well, then just freaking call.
Yeah.
Like, what, you need to text me to ask me if you can call me. Just call me.
Yeah.
If I can answer the phone, I'll answer. If I can't, I can't. But Josh, to your point, you're right. Like if the only time I'm guilty of that is when I'm literally like, I don't have time to call. I'm jumping on the call. I'll call you right back.
Yeah.
Type of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there are situations, and I'll be the first one to admit this. I do have people in my circle that are talkers more so than I am, where it's almost like an over-under. Like I've got 7 minutes. She's a 12-minute talker. I don't have time to answer it. Or, okay, I've got 7 minutes and this is a bullet point person I can answer. So part of it's kind of knowing your audience as well.
No,
Josh is probably going, oh, good Lord. Oh, no, he said agreed. Got it. Perfect.
Well, my mind went to, because I've fallen into that trap before where I'll answer, but I'll say, hey, I've got 5 minutes.
Right.
Or, hey, let me call you back. And the person insists that, oh, well, this will only take 2 minutes. And then they try to talk to you.
Some people can't tell time.
Yeah, they really, so.
Yeah. But I think you started it right. It's like, when I do answer, if I'm short on time, I'll say, hey, I've got, especially for people that I know are going to be talkers.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of chameleon with that. I can talk forever or I can bullet point it.
Yeah.
But I kind of started off with, hey, I wanted to answer because I knew it was you. I've got 3 minutes. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then at the end of 3 minutes, like, hey, I got to jump. I'll call you later if we've got more. But it's being respectful. But it goes back to knowing your audience as well.
I'm going to call you now and
You're
see
gonna
how
call
I'm
me now?
treated. I'll know if I'm a talker.
But I think that's part. Whitney, I gotta go. Very pressing issues.
It's been 12 minutes.
But there are some things that could be. We're all busy. I mean, let's face it. All of us in this world are busy right now, especially with the craziness going on with this COVID thing we got going around, the election season. People are just tired. So a lot of times with me, I'm not a phone talker. I'm really not. I so appreciate when people call me or make those birthday calls, but it's knowing your audience. Like I can only do it for so long because I'm just worn out, especially by the end of the day. So part of it goes back to, hey, knowing, but feeling out your audience. Say, hey, just want to talk with you.
Yeah.
How you doing on time? Or what? Just touch base with them and just figure out what it is that, what they need from it as well.
Which also goes back to knowing yourself, because I'm just better in the morning. If you want a really engaging conversation, call me in the morning.
Yep.
If you want my best ideas, don't call me at 4:30 because my best ideas are sitting back at 8 a.m.
And everyone's different. So that
Yeah.
goes, and there's two components here. There's the business and the personal.
Yep.
Like if I'm wanting to catch up with a group of girlfriends, I'm doing that more at night. I'm not doing it during the day. I'm not having long gab sessions with because I'm busy. But my friends all know that. They know that, hey, and they might shoot me a text and say, hey, call me tonight. One of my girlfriends did that last night. She's like, hey, I've got something I want to chat about. Can you call me tonight? After she said, and I was like, perfect. After put the kids down. But that's what it is. It's knowing yourself and figuring out where am I the best. But you got to know that about your audience too.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that we need to give unique experiences as part of the client engagement? Kind of like something during COVID, right? Like just something that makes your day happy to your clients.
That's good.
So I think that's a great Isaac coming in with the rock star questions. Isaac's a morning person, so let's do that. No, I feel like client engagement, the communication style and how you do it is critical, and that's where everything starts. Understanding your client, like we talked about, knowing what they like, what they don't. But the gifts and the engagement, I'm huge on that. And you can do it without a ton of things. A gift could be an article, like you were saying, passing something along. But for your top folks, you totally got to engage them. I mean, it's just, I was so stinking excited for my Wonder Woman necklace you guys got me because it was personalized, right? It knew, like you knew what I liked. So that was a cool thing. And I love wearing it. It's all shiny. But, some of the other things you can do, gifts are a big thing. Now, a lot of times for you corporate folks that are listening, or those of you guys that have the swag, right? Stop, for the love of all things holy. Please stop sending client gifts with your company logo on it. There, I said it.
I'm sorry, you don't want a pen and a mug?
You can give me a pen. I have these. You guys know this. I have logos. And then I got all this branded stuff when we first launched the podcast 2.5 years ago. I'm like, this is cool. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what the heck am I doing? This is like marketing. So it's like, let me give you a gift so you can market me because it's all about me. So while the trinkets and the logo stuff and everything they're needed for bigger companies for brand recognition. So if you want to put them in a golf tournament bag or things like that, absolutely. Those are great. If you want your people to wear them all day long, go for it. But if you really want to do something cool, invest in some of the companies that send some curated stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a big fan of the book Giftology, John Rulin, and he does a lot to engage clients, and he talks in the book about that's all his firm does. There's another company I use that are fantastic called Client Giant. They will send custom gifts on your behalf. So like you can, for those of you guys who are like, I know, I'll send you a link. I'll post a link actually.
Client Giant.
But these are companies that take that off your hands for you. So if you're like, man, I don't have time to be picking out gifts to send, do that. Those are both great companies that I love. But if you don't have that budget, you can do something local. I mean, find a local. I have another client here in Atlanta who found a local bakery he connected with, and they have these gorgeous pies. And he buys like 20 something of them every Thanksgiving for his top clients. And they're like massive and they're so pretty. But he buys them and he hand delivers it to his clients the Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, a couple days while they're still in the office. So little things like that, figuring out what your clients would enjoy and doing that. Most of his clients are crazy busy that week. They're high powered jobs, but they do have family that they try to entertain. So that just takes the pie baking off their list.
Yeah.
So we have Bernadette, and I am sorry that I butcher it. It says yes to Giftology. Just give it to our marketing manager to read. And then Josh Barber says, I will send video messages to the people I know. With my previous business, I would send videos of birthday videos.
Yeah,
nice.
I think that's awesome.
Like a personalized
Josh
message.
and Bernadette here. Okay, so
nice.
I like the video messages too. So if you don't have the budget for like a Giftology, Bernadette's a CEO of a firm, and they've got a nice. They do a great job with client engagement, but the concepts are good. These are all scalable. I mean, you can spend as much or as little on client engagement as you want. Video messages, Josh, I think are a great point because you can record them, you can do them, and it's free. And it lets people know. I mean, I got a message the other day on Instagram a personalized, and this is the first one of these I'd ever gotten, and I don't know why I hadn't thought of it. Somebody had followed me. I followed them back. Okay. I don't know the person. And what I got in reply after a follow back was a video message, but it wasn't canned because she said Kristen in it. And it was literally 10 seconds. It was like, hey, Kristen, thanks for the follow. Hope you're having a great week.
Nice.
And I'm like, how cool was that? Right. But
Yeah.
I felt, and so I kept the follow. I mean, some people, you follow, you unfollow. So I did. I took a minute and I went to her page. I was like, oh, this is really cool. What is she? I wanted to learn more about her because
Yeah.
I was so impressed by the fact that she took a second or 10 seconds to personalize things. So I think, Josh, your video messages and birthday videos and things like that, those are awesome because you can customize. I mean, you can make the person feel important. I mean, at the end of the day, we all just want to feel heard and important.
I like
we all
these
just need a little
ideas.
love coming our way,
I like
right?
these ideas. You know what? My okay, can I share a story?
Of course. Your stories are always good. I'm waiting to see.
No, so
Sit
my
back.
and I need to re-employ her. Listen at that. She'll love this word. So my grandmother used to make sweet potato pies, like amazing pies in the skies. Sacrifice your best pair of shoes pies. And we had a client that we would, very similar to the story you shared, where every week before Thanksgiving. And so it became a thing. Number one, he knew we were getting ready to bring it, but his family loved them so much. It became this thing of like his sons would get in the fridge like the night before Thanksgiving. And so they would bring out the pie and there's like a piece missing. And so it was like this whole story that developed into something that I never thought over giving him sweet potato pies.
But it's the experience.
Yeah.
It's not the pie, it's the experience the pie created. It was, everybody loved it. They had stories to tell. And that's kind of the premise of Giftology,
I
the
love
book.
this.
And Giftology is a book if you guys haven't checked it out. But the whole premise of this is John got to start selling Cutco knives, which I will tell you, Cutco knife salesmen are probably some of the best trained salespeople on the planet. Like if you ever want to hire a go-getter, hire a kid that did Cutco in college because they're rock stars.
Yeah.
But that was his background. He sold Cutco knives. So what he really started to do instead of just selling a set of knives was create an experience, the stories. Because if you get out a knife, no one's sitting around the dinner table going, that's a beautiful knife. But he would engrave them for his best clients and he would send them and he wouldn't engrave it that said Cutco. He would engrave their last name on it, right? Same thing with wine glasses. Don't send wine glasses. I've gotten glasses as gifts from companies before, and they always have their logo. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. But I don't take them out at parties. I got a set recently from a speaking engagement I had done. A couple of the people there had sent me their company, and it had their logo on the box, but the glasses were plain. And I was like, ooh, wait, I can use these.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what Ruland's thought is he put the person's name on it, the person's initial. So now if I send, glass, I love glassware and stemware. So I'll send something with the family's initial, but they use it. And people are like, oh, what a beautiful, I love that knife. It's engraved. Oh yeah. So-and-so sent it to me. My marketing firm sent it to me. And that's where the stories are created and people talk about it. And when they tell the story, they talk about you.
Nice.
And that's what we really want. We want first and foremost to make client engagement should always be about making the client feel engaged and loved and important. But, if it creates some stories and gets them talking about you, bonus.
Can I get some knives engraved?
Knives engraved.
That say, I will cut you.
I will. You know what, though? But like I said,
that would be fantastic.
For some of my clients, that would work.
I know.
Don't
that's
make me cut you.
Idea.
But that would work.
You're welcome.
That goes back to knowing your clients because I have, and I can't blow it. I can't blow it. I have a friend who has been, I'll tell you guys off air because you guys know this friend.
Okay.
I have a very good girlfriend with a birthday coming up. And we have a lot of birthdays like these next couple months. So I don't know what was going on in January, February, the world, but I know, but we've got a lot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we like to do group gifts for a couple of my friend groups and we can customize them. That's what's so fun. It's been like getting all of us together and going, oh yeah, they would like this. So we've got one coming up that is like going to be the most perfect personalized gift ever on the planet. And I'm so excited about it. And it will be unveiled next week. So that's all I can say. But what it goes back to is engaging. And whether it's clients, friends, or whatever, it's knowing what they like and enjoy and what they would appreciate and what they're going to tell stories about.
Yeah.
Because engagement is a marketing tool. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a marketing tool. You do it because you love them, but it's a tool to keep them talking about you. So
Nice.
get them talking in a good way.
Yes, of course.
Because they're also going to talk about the bad gifts you
Yes.
get too, like the pins.
Well, I was thinking we were going through this. This also makes the breakup easier should it happen. So, for example, we recently had a client that just needed to move down to the next lower package, and they emailed me and they said, I really appreciate everything you're doing, but everything that's happened to COVID, I just need to drop down for a couple of months till the end of the year. Let's get on the phone and talk about it. Now, we did that. I appreciated the fact that they let me know that they enjoyed our work and that it wasn't because of us that they were having to drop down. But I also know when they are able to go back up, they will.
They will.
Yeah.
They will. And so many of us have lost business during COVID. And I have too. I had 5 personal coaching clients that had to drop because of the nature of their business. Revenues had stopped, everything. Totally understood that. Did it sink my revenue? Yep. I mean, it was not fun.
Right.
But I have stayed engaged with those people, and a couple of them have already come back. And that's what it was, is the more you can engage with people, they're not going to leave. And if they do, it's the right thing. I certainly have clients, on the private side where they just, I call them they graduate. I'm like, you graduated, because it gets to a point where they need another strategist or another coach or a different perspective, or an area of expertise that's not mine. But if you engage them properly, they come back around. Those same clients that I've graduated to another coach, those coaches have sent me people that needed, my expertise. So it's really about engaging. And this isn't just clients. It could be, like I mentioned, the other coaches, it could be strategic alliances, centers of influence, anybody that is in your network that you feel could help you scale and grow.
Yeah.
I love it. There's lots of fun stuff to do. So I think it's, we could have a ton of ideas. I'll post a couple links in here because there are some good companies. But, one of the things I'll mention, I will post a link to our community too, because with Success Blueprint, this is one area we get into a lot. So we've got some affiliate links and some resources. Like I have a gift guide in there. I literally have scoured, because I love to shop. I have scoured all of the sites where you can buy customized gifts. So if you have a female clientele, if you have a guy clientele, there's some sites and gifts that are very personalized to the rugged, outdoorsy men type of folk.
Nice.
But there's some really cool things, and that's where it is knowing your audience and knowing your individual clients. It doesn't have to be an all thing. You can have a, Giftology or Client Giant, which are phenomenal for large groups, but you're going to have some people that you want those little one-off things like, oh, you know what, they did really well, or oh, they're having a really crappy month, and send them something. Send them a little something, whether it's free or a gift. I think either one shows them that you care.
Yeah.
Does this tie into like your unique
Unique-ifier.
It's okay. Kristen made up that word.
I made up
but
that
it's
word.
a good
I
word.
totally made it up.
Because you guys talk about being memorable, and that like pretty much goes into what's your unique-ifier, your personal, and then also your business, right?
It does. It does. So each of us, here's one thing I'll say, like the unique-ifier, your unique-ifier is what makes you stand apart from your competition and from other people. It could be something personal. It could be professional. It could be the way you love on and engage your clients. Like I go all in. I want to know my clients. I want to know what they like. I'm commenting on their personal posts. I'm connecting with them. I'm talking about their kids, but that's unique to me. My unique-ifier may not be yours. So if somebody listening is like, oh, I don't want to know that much. Okay, that's fine. Just make sure that you know your client so you can figure out what they need from you. So it can totally go into the unique-ifier. So your unique-ifier has to do with like the type of stuff. One of my 5 themes is that we should always have fun. Business and life should be fun. So anytime I'm sending something, going to the unique-ifier, that's unique to me. I want something that's going to make you smile, make you laugh, make you chuckle. That's why I'm so excited about this gift, because she's going to pass out. But, it's things like that. It's putting your unique spin on things in a way that resonates with your people.
Yeah.
With your clients.
I love that. This is perfect timing too.
I like it.
Christmas is around the corner.
Holidays are coming up. That's right. So we'll talk about that, because next week we've got my friend Brandon on talking about leveraging social media. So Brandon is like the online guru. Like I'm on social a lot. I love doing social media. I don't always know what I'm doing. I'm just on there, right? So no, I've got a pretty mapped out plan. But Brandon's going to come in and talk about how to leverage it in your business, because we are spending October talking about business. Then at the end of the month, I'm excited because my friend Matt is going to come on and talk about, let's call it I wouldn't even say alternative business. I'm very corporate focused, right? My people tend to be professionals, entrepreneurs. Matt has been in the automotive industry. He's got shows on Motor Trend Network and Discovery Channel and all this stuff. And, you know, he's a friend of mine, and we talk a lot about how it's so important for people to build businesses that fit them and their style and their strengths. And I wanted to bring him on so we could really talk about creating a business that fits you. Because I really feel like there's so much opportunity in our country that people are missing out on. You know, they kind of just roll into jobs that they don't love, but there's so much opportunity to combine your passions and make a living doing it. So I'm excited. So he's the host of Truck You, Dirty Motor Truckers, and Trucks Gone Wild. So there's, you know, it's an automotive theme, but I'm excited because our conversations around business, it's all these same themes, no matter what your industry is. So I think it will be fun. So we'll be closing out the month on business. Nice. And then in November, we will have a different theme as we roll into the election time that we'll talk about what we can renew then. So we're still focused on business for the next couple of weeks. So until then, I'll post some links. You guys take some ideas. I'd love to hear your ideas or any cool things. I know Josh and Bernadette shared some stuff, but drop them in the comments. Let us know what you're doing to engage your network and your clients, because it's hugely critical and a lot of fun if you really take some time to map it out. So until next week, keep pushing and let's renew those lives and those businesses. We'll see you next Tuesday.